Crash Course Instrumentation, Saturday Special Episode 9, Shocking Lessons, Tragedies that Shaped Electrical Safety. Intro. Before modern protection devices, electricity was both a miracle and a menace. In this Saturday special, we're exploring how major fires, blackouts, and industrial tragedies shaped the way we protect circuits today, including the rise of fuses, the evolution of circuit breakers, the creation of the NEC, and how outdated systems like Edison-base fuse panels gave way to safer breaker panels and modern wiring. Act 1. Dangerous Beginnings and Birth of the NEC. In the late 1800s, electricity was being installed in buildings faster than safety practices could keep up. Wires with cotton or rubber insulation were nailed to wooden framing, often run alongside gas pipes, and splices were poorly twisted and taped. Overheating wires and short circuits caused devastating fires in cities like Boston, Chicago, and New York. Insurance companies were paying out huge losses and demanding standards. In 1897, the National Board of Fire Underwriters published the first National Electrical Code, NEC. The goal was simple: set clear, enforceable rules for safe electrical installations, including overcurrent protection, for every circuit to prevent overheating and fire. The NEC required fuses or breakers matched to wire ampacity, one of its most important early rules. Act 2. Edison-base fuses and early wiring hazards. By the early 1900s, the standard for residential protection was the Edison-base screw-in fuse panel. While a major step forward, these panels had serious drawbacks. Overfusing. Homeowners often replaced a blown 15A fuse with a 30A fuse to prevent nuisance trips, overloading wiring. Tampering. People sometimes stuck coins in blown fuse sockets to restore power. This bypassed protection entirely, creating a fire hazard. An undersized capacity. Homes of the 1920s to 40s had far smaller electrical demands than modern households. Panels were often overloaded as more appliances were added. Wiring standards were also evolving. Early knob and tube wiring, though safe when installed correctly, lacked grounding and could degrade. By mid-century, Romex, non-metallic sheathed cable, became the new standard, offering better insulation, grounding, and easier installation. Act 3. Industrial growth and breaker evolution. As factories grew in the 1920s and 30s, electrical loads increased, and fuses alone were not enough. Circuit breakers emerged as a resettable, faster way to protect large systems. Companies like Westinghouse and GE refined molded case breakers, making them safer and easier to use than replacing fuses. After World War II, breaker panels became the standard in new residential construction. The NEC encouraged upgrades from Edison-base fuse panels to breaker panels to prevent overfusing and meet higher electrical demand. Act 4. Blackouts, coordination, and expanding codes. The entire Northeast Blackout of 1965 affected over 30 million people. While rooted in transmission instability, poor coordination of protective devices allowed a single fault to cascade. This drove the NEC and NFPA to expand selective coordination requirements, ensuring only the device nearest the fault trips. The NFPA also developed NFPA 79 for industrial machinery, and NFPA 70E for workplace safety, addressing evolving hazards in factories and plants. Act 5. The future of overcurrent protection. Modern systems now include smart breakers with remote monitoring, arc fault and ground fault interrupters for homes, current limiting fuses for industrial gear, digital coordination software for complex systems. In critical infrastructure, automated protection isolates faults instantly, a direct descendant of lessons from more than a century of tragedies. Wrap-up. Every rule in the NEC, every breaker in your panel, and every fuse in your equipment reflects lives saved and lessons learned. The move from Edison-base fuses to breaker panels, along with improved wiring like Romex, is a perfect example of how safety and capacity have evolved with technology. Thanks to Tony Coupault and the open-source community for making this knowledge accessible. Subscribe for more history, science, and real-world insight into modern instrumentation.